Welcome to this webinar where we're going to be examining the starter package produced by ESS BIZTOOLS to assist accountants, bookkeepers, business advisors to deliver services to SME clients. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director and Founder of ESS BIZTOOLS. Are you leaving money on the table? Interesting question, isn't it? Especially in the morning after the federal budget was brought down last night. There wasn't much money in that budget for SMEs, was there? But we will debate that at a later time. Incidentally, if you would like to receive a copy of the ESS BIZTOOLS Special Business Plus edition, which will be uploading in under 2 hours' time, you could send me an email, please, peter@essbiztools.com.au. That edition analyses the federal budget as it affects SMEs, so you may be interested in looking at it, and you could send it round to your clients if you wish. All you do is take off the ESS BIZTOOLS branding only once on page 1, take it off there, and you can put your own firm name on and send it round and see what reaction you get from your clients. But are you leaving money on the table? This can happen because you're only focusing on compliance. Do you accept that SMEs need more advice than just taxation advice? There's a lot of problems for SMEs, which tax returns will not solve. In my career, I've been the senior partner of an accounting firm, but prior to that, I was the chief financial officer and company secretary of a listed public company that had operations in Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria in the meat industry. And what I learned there was accountants do a lot more than worry about preparing monthly accounts or even the annual accounts when you work in a corporation, because corporations need information daily, weekly, monthly, and then it gets repeated again, daily, weekly, monthly. In my role as the Chief Financial Officer, Wednesday was the big day. Could not do anything else on a Wednesday because all the results for the previous week's trading activities, which now instance finished at the end of trading on a Saturday, so we had retail butcher shops together with Meatworks, but it's the retail butcher shops that did trade on Saturdays. We needed their results. So my team would go through them, and then I would sit down and have a sandwich with the CEO at lunchtime on a Wednesday, and we'd go through the results. And what he was looking for was who hasn't performed in accordance with our expectations. In other words, our budget. And he would immediately then start ringing the area managers. We had 13 area managers around Australia. He would start ringing them. And what he was very keen to find out is whether they had already talked to the manager of that particular butcher shop or the meatworks or whatever else we had there to see what the problem was, because the whole incentive was to fix the problem so it didn't reoccur next week. Now, please sit back and think about your clients running a business. Do they have that sort of input? Are you or someone else that understands financial matters talking to your client around Tuesday or Wednesday of a week, analysing how they performed up until the previous Saturday, or these days probably Sunday, because a lot of our SME clients are now trading on Sundays as well? Because the whole attempt is to make sure if there was a problem, it's fixed, so it doesn't continue to occur for many, many, many weeks into the future. And that could, couldn't it? We may have had a problem in the first week of the financial year. And if that problem was not identified and then fixed, that same issue could have gone on for the whole 12 months. And then how much later into the new financial year is it before you get round to attending to that client's books? Now, some people say to me 2 months, and I just laugh. That might be for one client, But for a lot of clients, it's 8, 9 months after the end of the financial year. So that problem could have been going for nearly 1 3/4 years if it started in the first week of a financial year. How can you help your clients overcome that problem? SMEs are in trouble in Australia, and we're going to talk about that in a bit later. But I just wanted to have this sort of discussion with you at this stage and say, what are we doing to help SMEs? SMEs need guidance. They need strategic insights to help them survive and grow their businesses. Do you have the right tools to offer advisory services? And the key areas are financial matters. They're just not interested in a profit and loss account. They need commercial and management accounting data. They need to know the key performance indicators and the other business metrics. They need to know where there's been variances to what was included in the budget so that they can fix it. It's not your responsibility to fix it unless it's an accounting error that's caused the problem. But it's your role, as I see, where we sit helping our clients, to make sure that the leadership team from your client's business is aware that there was a problem and this is what your review has told you the problem was, so it can be fixed. So I hope I've made the point that the SME market needs more than compliance. So what would it mean to you, to your firm, if you could unlock some new revenue streams with advisory services? And sometimes people say, oh, the clients can't afford it. Well, I think they can if it's going to improve their businesses. You're going to have to show them that you're fair income about this, that it will be attended to each week. Now, it could be done the way we're doing it now, that the information's been transferred back to your office, so it's on your screens, and you then hold a Zoom meeting with your client or the client's team to go through it, analyse it. You don't have to get in the car and drive, because I know there's some of our subscribers are servicing firms all over Australia. And I know there's some New Zealand accountants servicing SMEs in Australia. I think it's their excuse to come over for the Melbourne Cup each year, but we probably shouldn't say that very loud, shouldn't we? SME survival is an issue, a very big one. The Australian Small Business and Family Enterprise Ombudsman produces the Small Business Pulse every 2 months. So the most recent was produced in February this year. And he indicated that small business conditions had deteriorated 0.3% in the December quarter. And that was a total deterioration of 1.5% for 2024. The Ombudsman indicated that high business input costs and difficulty finding suitable staff continue to weigh on the small business operating environment. And it does, most definitely, doesn't it? He indicated there's concerns over regulatory requirements remain high. And whilst he acknowledged that the reduction in interest rates announced a couple of weeks ago will provide modest welcome relief, it's not the answer that SMEs were looking for. And unfortunately, there's no answer in the budget that we listened to last night either. And I've spent the last 3 or 4 hours this morning writing our material to go in Business Plus. There's not much in it for SMEs. Oh, they get a tax deduction, but everyone gets that, don't they? The regulatory regimes that have been imposed by this government apparently are going to continue. That chart you have on your screen now is from the Small Business Pulse and shows the drop in the calculated Small Business Pulse since February 2023, basically the end of COVID. The rating has dropped significantly. It shows you what the Ombudsman, who's a former Liberal government Minister for Small Business, but was appointed to this position by the current Prime Minister, Mr. Albanese. So the Ombudsman says the pulse points to a continuing flat and challenging trading environment, showing a decline of some 25%. You can see that by the chart. If I'll just go back to it. Hope you can. That's clear enough for you. We've just taken it straight out of the Ombudsman's report. But it is dipped down to the bottom where it's now coming across at around under 80 and dipping down towards 75 from a rating that was 100 and in fact was probably around 103 in May 2023, and then it's or February 2023, and then it started its decline. And I'll let you work out the political implications of that. So after the end of COVID era, support and substantially below the long-term average with many headwinds, well short of times when small business felt wind in their sails. It's been a long time since I've even seen that terminology. And it's a long time since I heard an SME say that or something similar. Why? Because they've got some difficulties. There's high problems in SMEs. There's a lot of insolvencies. There's a lot of problems with getting paid. There's a lot of challenges. And I don't think governments are listening, but I hope accountants are listening to what the Ombudsman's saying and what SMEs are saying. They need more assistance. Now, you're not going to be able to supply all of the assistance they need. A lot of that's regulatory, and it's obviously up to governments and bureaucracies to establish, but they need more information. They need more accounting support. And there's no reason in 2025 that they couldn't have that. The Ombudsman in February said, if you believe, as I do, that small and family businesses are the engine room of the economy, we have lost a cylinder in a 4-cylinder engine in the aftermath of COVID-19. It's a pretty sobering statement, isn't it? Lost a cylinder out of a 4-cylinder engine in about 3 years. That's not good reading. So SMEs need accounting support, and accountants need to reposition now. Not in 5 years' time, but now. And one of the reasons you need to be doing it now is what I have on the screen there for you now to look at. Compliance work as we know it will disappear before the end of this decade. This was a comment made by a chartered accountant speaking at a series of AI webinars that was presented 10 days ago. And the gentleman's on the screen now, Mark Wickersham, a chartered accountant, previously operated in Sydney. And in 1999, he met Paul Dunn. Many of us know Paul Dunn. And he decided that value pricing was the way to go. And he created the Value Pricing Academy. He now lives in London, and he works as a special consultant for ChatGPT and runs the Value Pricing Academy for accountants all over the world. So here he is, a Sydney lad who's gone on to bigger and better things. And if you get the opportunity of being able to listen or view his presentation that he made at the AI series of webinars, I would encourage you to do so. I hope to make contact with Mark over the next few days to see whether he's happy that we can send out links to that webinar recording, because it was straight shooting in his comments. And he really said that current work being done on taxation matters by accountants and bookkeepers will not exist before the end of the decade. And then he said, and possibly earlier. And then we come back to the Tax Commissioner warning, which we received 2.5 years ago, when at Xerocon 2022, he issued a warning about what was happening because of the technology uptake by the tax office. Now, Chris Jordan's now retired, and he was a former partner of KPMG before he was headhunted to head the tax office 10 or 12 years ago, as I understand it. But just because he was a part of a Big Four firm doesn't mean he hasn't got some understanding and appreciation of the role that accountants offering services just to SMEs have got. I think he was giving us a very important warning to our profession, to his professional colleagues, that there needed to be changes made. Because he was rather blunt in his statements, wasn't he? I've repeated them because some people every so often tell me they haven't heard about this. Work requirements will drop off because of the tax office uptake of technology. Mr. Jordan said, if your business model was high volume, low margin, and focused on simple tax returns, it will not be viable in 3 to 5 years' time. Now, this should now read 6 months to 2.5 years' time. It's right on us. And when you think about what, I'll just go back another slide, what Mark Wickersham had to say. And we'll just go back a little bit further. Compliance work as we know it today will disappear before the end of this decade. And I've told you what he added at the end of that, if it doesn't disappear before. And then he said, how can we create more value? Accountants need to deliver more value services. I don't know if Mark knows Chris Jordan, but the comments are basically giving a very similar message, that there's significant changes occurring. Accountants and bookkeepers need to diversify their offerings and focus on becoming a brilliant and trusted advisor, Chris Jordan said. Now, the ESS BIZTOOls Starter Package offers resources to assist your firm to introduce diversified services. We observed these comments made by people like Chris Jordan, of course, and now by Mark Witherspoon, and we have incorporated them within our product packages. So the ESS BIZTOOls Starter Package, first of all, we start with getting the team ready. So what are their resources? There's a training package for your team, business advisory services. There's 13 compartments to it. Some firms sit down and do it in a day, staff training. Others spend an hour on it over about 13 weeks, once a week. It's up to you. It takes you through some very interesting areas, because we are basically trying to inform accountants, younger accountants in the main, who have been involved in taxation type work since they joined an accounting firm, of some of the issues that confront businesses that they would have experienced if they'd been working in a larger business. But in a larger business, they were probably doing one very small section of the work. Obviously, if we're dealing with SME clients, we want them to have an overview understanding of how the business operates as quick as possible. The SME needs analysis is a summary of some key items on commercial matters that you could discuss with your clients. One of the big challenges we have as a profession is that because the whole approach to clients has been that an accountant prepares the annual set of accounts and a tax return, that's all many SMEs believe that accountants can produce for them. Now, they know that bigger companies, larger companies have got accountants working for them. They probably don't appreciate that everyone's done the same training. They've all been to university. They've done the PY type courses. They've all done the same accreditation, but the workflow is different. And they think that all you're interested in doing is tax. Now, I know some firms basically tell their clients that we will only do tax. Okay, if that's what they want to do, they should take some note, I think, of what the tax commissioner had to say. But if they wish to ignore it, so be it. The SME needs analysis helps you to identify some matters to talk to your clients about. Now, it could be, are you happy with your gross profit percentages? Now, I've had a phone call from one of our subscribers who, when I asked the client that, he said to me, can you show me how I calculate gross profit percentage? I've had an ex-CEO of a listed company who retired and bought a small retail type store, and he mixed up the markup percentage with the gross profit percentage. And when he called me in because his bank balance was starting to decrease because he was doing his pricing the wrong way. And when I went through it with him, he said, you know, I've learned something here. In my former life as the CEO, I never did these calculations. They were done by one of our accounting team who used to be looking at these things all the time. So I now he asked my firm then to supervise what he was doing. I said, well, very simply, here's a gross profit chart, and alongside it, it's the markup chart. Make sure you're marking it up by the markup, and that will then give you the gross profit, but don't mix them up. So clients need assistance, and some of them will not say anything because they think all you're worried about is tax. Then we've got promotional material, because I think it's very important that we have this communication, and our main communication tool is Business Plus. That's the document I referred to earlier that we've produced based on the Treasurer's presentation on the budget last night that will be going out in about an hour and a half's time to our subscribers. Well, what it normally has, there's 12 editions in a year, and in each edition there's 4 to 6 articles, 4 A4 pages. We write it, we upload it to our website on the second Friday of a month at 12 noon AEST, and we send an email to our subscribers to say it's been uploaded. Our subscribers then go to our website, download it, remove the ESS BIZTOOLS badging. It's only one lot of badging on the top, so that their team know where this document come from, and they can then put their own badging on. And then we suggest they read it and make a note of which clients might be interested in which articles. And we try to write articles that cover the whole spectrum of SME businesses. So it's not all talking to people who are about to retire or want to sell their business or interested in a succession plan. We try to have 4 to 6 different type articles that will interest someone who's on a different stage of their small business journey. And what we're hoping that they will do is ask questions, because every article has a call to action in it. If you would like to know more about how a debtors management system could operate for your business, please contact the accountant in our organisation who you normally deal with. And if you're a subscriber, we say to you, now, if you want to change that wording at the end and put in contact Mary Green, because she's our expert on debtors, that's fine. In fact, that's great, because that's what we want. That's the communication with your clients. So the Business Plus is a vital way to communicate with your clients, to show them, yes, you are interested in giving them support on advisory services. The client mentoring and coaching modules, all you got to do is badge this with your firm name and start using it. And we've developed a series of articles. In total, we've got over 20 of them. In the starter package, you get 6 or 7, but it's some communication you can be sending to your clients so that they get an understanding of, gee, my accountant can do a lot more than the tax return. And client seminars and webinars. I've been a great fan of seminars for a long time, long before the internet and Zoom and all this wonderful new technology come along. In my accounting firm, we used to run seminars. We would have normally 20 to 40 people turn up at a seminar. Our biggest ones ever, we had 250. We hired a school assembly hall and filled it up. It was unbelievable. And we had presentations all day. We had some keynote presenters, and the rest were presented by myself and my partners and a couple of our key team members. Made presentations all day. So you can do it. But today you've got this wonderful tool called Zoom and other similar tools that you can use. So you can talk to your clients wherever they are. And you've got seminars already pre-prepared. All you're going to do is familiarize yourself with them, badge them with your firm name. If you want to make some edits, you can make some edits. And away you go. And that will be saying to your clients that you can do more things for them. And we got papers on a wide range of business issues. As a starter package subscriber, you've got 320 papers on 60 different subject headings. In total, there's 580 papers in our total system on about 70 different product issues. And what our subscribers do is they badge it and send it to their clients. Now, if you want to, you could charge your clients for it. I don't recommend that, but you can. We're not running a franchise business, so you don't owe ESS BIZTOOLS any more money if you do that. We have a government grant communication that goes out each week, which is identifying what's happening in grant land. And grant land's huge in Australia. We've got Australian state territory grants, and some city councils around Australia have got grants. What we're doing is bringing these to your attention so that you can also be thinking about, oh, which clients might this one suit? So material to assist your clients and prospects. So we're now getting into the nitty gritty. We've gone through the preparation and the communications, which is very important. A business due diligence analysis. My observation is that we know something about clients we prepare tax for, but how much do we really know? I found that when I was in a public company, I knew a lot more about what we were doing in our business than what I found out, other than probably for about 4 or 5 of my clients when I went back into public practice. Why? Because I had a responsibility. I was the chief financial officer and the company secretary. I wanted to know where everything was. I wanted to know who had the keys, who had the codes, and where they were all safeguarded. So what are the risks that your client has in their business? Because risks are a huge area also. So the aim of the due diligence analysis on the business is to develop an understanding that is 1 inch wide but a mile deep. You really need to know more about your clients if you are going to become something akin to the virtual chief financial officer. That process might take an hour, 2 hours, it might take a day, depending on the complexity of your client's business. And basically, it's finding out who's responsible for it. We've got checklists. You check them. And sometimes, of course, we find that there's something in the checklist, but when you ask the client, they say, oh, yeah, well, that happens here, but oh, no, we've never thought of having someone responsible. We didn't really think about it. So that way you're helping the internal control system to work properly. Business planning, it's vital. And it's not just a matter of you saying to the client, yeah, I'll prepare your business plan, and you go off and sit in the back room and write one. I don't think that's the right way. In fact, I think that's a waste of time. The right way is to utilize the checklists that we have, the questionnaires that are within ESS BIZTOOLS for the business planning process. Distribute them to your client's leadership team. Obviously, to have discussions with the CEO or the general manager first, and they may have some other issues that they want covered, include them, and send them around, and then organise some meetings. In most cases, I don't find it works trying to get a full day unless you've got people away in a remote location and you can get them to turn their mobiles off. But 2 to 3 hours is normally not a bad stint to get their brains really active but not worrying about anything else. So you bring them together a few times. You summarise all that, you put it all together, you take it back to the leadership team, and you get them to then agree, this is our business plan, sign off on it, because they are the group of people that have the prime responsibility to implement the plan. So that's business planning. Then the predictive accounting reports. What we take you through in the starter package is the getting ready, the overview of it all. So that's the budgets, the key drivers, those very important sub-accounts, inventory, completed stock, debtors, creditors, capital expenditure, research and development, a whole range of issues that in a lot of planning for budgets and cash flows gets hidden in the process. We want them there as key sub-accounts so that there's a figure that can be reconciled to each month. What was it meant to be? What did we budget that debtors would be this month? We budgeted they'd be running at 35 days outstanding. Wow, look at it. It's 48 days. No wonder we got no cash, the client might say. That's really using this whole planning process to be relevant on a day-to-day business activity. And then we've got the 52-week business enhancement system. And this is emphasising something I said some time ago in this presentation. Daily, weekly, monthly. That's how businesses operate. That's how your business operates. So does your SMEs. Daily, weekly, monthly. The daily report might just be, this is what happened yesterday. We had sales of $3,500. Our average sale was $29.31. Normally it's $40 something or other. Our debtors balance is this. Cash in the bank is this. We're going to pay bills this month, which are a bit higher than what's in the bank. So it's alerting the leadership team to today's issues. And the prompt there really is saying to them, you better get on the phone on that debtors list you got given at the monthly meeting a couple of weeks ago and chase those customers up for payments, because we're going to need it to make a big payment to someone. The weekly reports are to do with performance, and I mentioned this earlier. This is what the big end of town does, is calculate their weekly performance. Woolworths do it, Coles do it, the whole of the meat industry does it. IGA stores do it. They know every week how they traded in their department. Some of those stores have got 44, 45 departments. They know how they performed. And you may have a client that's situated 50 to 60 metres outside the IGA store in a major shopping centre. And they're competing with them. And if they don't have this sort of information, they've got a very difficult road. And then we've got the monthly reports, which is looking at the actual profit and loss accounts compared to the budget. And also compared to what the weekly results were saying, because if there's some mistakes getting made in the data that's being used in the weekly calculations, we need to get that fixed, because what we really want is that the leadership team have a high level of confidence in the accuracy of the preparation of the weekly reports, that they accept what is being told. We've got a problem. Gross profit percentage was supposed to be 38%. It's only come in at 22%. Here's what happened. And they then go away and investigate. Not they sit there and want to debate whether that's an accurate summary. You're sure you got it right? They need to gain an appreciation that the system is producing correct information. So material to assist you with your clients. We've got a tradie charge out rate calculator, which will show you based on the working hours, the salaries being paid, the productivity being achieved or expected to be achieved, obviously the business overheads, the profit target the business has had, what the charge out rates for these people based on these productivity percentages, these working hours, what those charge out rates need to be to accumulate the targeted profit. We've got one client one accountancy firm who has built up over 120 separate subscribers, members, for preparing this information, charging them $8,000 to $10,000 more than what they were paying previously for just the tax return. Retail wholesale businesses is something a little bit similar. They've got a different challenge though, haven't they? They're buying all this stock in, so they've got all types of stock coming in, different markups. Some are stars, high volume, high markups. Others are a difficult stock because they're there, they've got to have them. So they become cash cows. They don't have them, people might go somewhere else to buy. So how do they fix it? We've got a system which will allow you to communicate that with them. And the professional firms charge out rates, which I honked in the middle there, it's very similar to the tradie charge out rate. So other systems we've got in this package, selling a business. People still selling businesses. There are some buyers. Succession planning. Business evaluation workshops. Selling a business. My apology, I've repeated that. But anyhow, only talking about it once, of course. How much money are you leaving behind? If you're not doing any of this work, you are leaving money behind. Within 2 weeks of subscribing to ESS BIZTOOLS, you could be earning income. All you got to do is read the material. The real value we're giving you is the forms, the papers, the promotional material. You will understand a significant amount of what's in our system. Now, in some areas you won't, but they're probably more in the next level of product packages, where we talk about raising capital from the public. But the tradies charge out rate calculator, I think you could use that within 1 or 2 weeks of subscribing to us. The same thing with the retail wholesale. So how many clients have you got that are tradies? How many retailers or wholesalers have you got? How many professional service firms, chiropractors, architects, engineers, lawyers? You must have some of them. And you could sit down and talk to them. Send them some of the communication devices we've got. A client that's looking to buy a business, you could start helping him with the material we've got. The debtors management review and the production of the personalised debtors systems manual. Most certainly you could use that within 2 weeks. Now, advising a client on the research and development system, I would urge you to read that product package very carefully before you start talking to clients about research and development, if you're not familiar with them. But I really want you to become familiar, because it's a great opportunity for SMEs to get some government support. Assisting a client to sell the business, you could do that in succession planning, overview for a client. You could also be doing that within a couple of weeks of your subscription. So how can you get started so quickly? You might be asking, because all these resources are in the starter package. You read them and start offering the services to your clients. Now, we've got a special offer for you. We want you to get started. We're concerned about what's happening in SME land. They need assistance. And the budget that was brought down last night is not going to assist any of them, I don't think. So we got a 50% special offer until Easter. Your investment is only $999, and that includes GST. That gives you 12 months access, 24/7. Within 24 hours of completing the subscription and making your payment, you will have 24/7 access to the starter package. And you will have access to our special training programs also, 10 one-hour training sessions a year. And you can go to the other training packages we conduct as well. So we've got 4 major product packages. They've each got 10 training sessions a year, so it's 40 in total. And we promote them to all of our subscribers and say, now, if you want to go and watch the video on financial forecasting package, you can do so. So if you're interested in going forward, if you think I've raised some issues with you about how you are servicing your SME clients, if you've thought about what the former tax commissioner had to say and what the Mark Witherspoon had to say about what's the changing circumstances confronting accountants, please go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and click on products and packages, and a list comes down, and then click on the starter package, and you can get underway. If you want to know more, by all means, contact us. Send me an email, please, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will definitely get back to you. And we could organise a complimentary Zoom meeting, perhaps 40 minutes. You can tell me a little about your firm, about your clients, about your team, and I will tell you which product package within ESS BizTools I think will assist you. And if I think you've already got the resources, I will tell you that. You don't need to subscribe to our packages. Or you can telephone me, 0747241118. And we can organise the same thing. Have a Zoom meeting. You can have your team there. You can have as many people as you want. But it's a good idea to always have your partners involved. So you're getting a group look at these types of things. Because this is the development of new services. I have some subscribers who are getting to very close to a situation of about a 50-50 split. That's what they're trying to achieve, 50% advisory services, 50% taxation. That means that some of them have offloaded some of their clients. They've politely told them that they can't service them anymore, but they've introduced them to some other practitioners. They haven't just thrown them out the door. They've guided them on their way to practitioners that really just want to stay doing taxation work. But I have some fears for where that might be headed, given the comments that 2 experts are really making about what's likely to occur before the decade ends. The decade ending is only 5 years away. So give me a ring if you want to talk, please, or send me an email and we'll set up a meeting. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye. Please, if you want to talk, please contact me and we'll see how everything develops from there. Thank you.